Have you ever spent hours out in the water, casting again and again, only to go home empty-handed? Maybe you've hooked trout before, but they always seem to get away right at the last second. Every angler knows that frustration. You're doing everything right, yet the big one never seems to land. That's exactly why in this video I'm breaking down 10 tips guaranteed to help you catch massive trout. These aren't gimmicks or lucky breaks. They're proven strategies that seasoned anglers use to consistently pull trophy-sized trout, fish, and by the end, you'll have a game plan that actually works next time you hit the water. Tip number 1. The first tip that I have personally used to consistently catch trophy-sized trout is 2.5-inch Rapala. Fish the Rapala, avoid downstream, directly upstream. It hasn't been as effective. The reason that it works so well is because it resembles a small fish. The speed of the retrieve mimics a darting fish trying to avoid a predator monster trout chasing it for food. You can make the lure work better by experimenting with it. Twitch it in feeding lanes. I personally had a legitimate 30-inch trophy brown trout grab Rapala while testing this retrieve. Unfortunately, I pulled the lure out of its mouth without hooking or landing the fish. Shortly after I lost the fish, my dad brought a 24.5-inch trophy brown trout that he caught below the waterfall, which I was fishing above. He caught that trout on a different 2.5-inch Rapala. You're going to love tip number 2 if you fish clear water. In clear water, I prefer using gold or silver dimpled blade with gold or silver body. To provoke the big ones, make sure to use the 1/4-inch Panther Martin Deluxe fly spinner. Trout love bait fish and bugs. The fly on the spinner's treble hook is a bug pattern with similar colors to the bug that it's resembling. The spinner is exceptional for triggering the biggest fish strike on very bright sunny days. Clear water can be challenging, but I like clear water fishing the best. I'm able to watch every cast from when it hits the water all the way back to me. Watch for follows as the blade and of the spinner is spinning and working correctly. Mainly watch the spinner so you can see the fish as it strikes. When fishing clear water, make sure to wear drab colors as to not alert the trout that you are approaching, while concealing yourself, trying not to spook the fish. Try to wade as lightly as possible and stay low if you see a fish. There are some mistakes to avoid. When using this lure, don't cast directly downstream, then reel directly back upstream. This retrieve makes the lure look unnatural and the fish become uninterested. Clearwater fishing these types of spinners is best in sunny conditions. The dimples on a spinner blade reflect the sun's light and raise at many different angles and directions, stimulating the fish to react. To make the spinner work better, you must determine the correct pace to retrieve it. This takes a little time to perfect. When you get it figured out, you'll be rewarded with more and bigger fish. Casting upstream, close to the bank as you can get it, with the spinner is the most effective. If the fish sees something drop into its field of vision like a bug falling into the river off the bank, immediately the spinner darts with the current, giving the fish an instant to react or they miss the opportunity to eat. So even if they're hungry or not, this technique triggers them to react and strike. Okay, so before we go into this next 3 tips, which are game changers if you fish rivers or streams, make sure to hit the subscribe so you never miss weekly fishing guides that help you catch more and bigger fish. The 3rd tip, Panther Martin hammer blade 1/4-ounce spinner is great for any type of water conditions for catching trophy trout. The reflection of the blade and sonic waves emitted by the blade are the main reasons why this is the preferred lure to use while fishing trophy trout. Sonic sound puts out a frequency that triggers the fish to strike regardless of whether it's hungry or not. Avoid reeling the lure in too fast or slow. Doing either one makes it look unnatural to the trout, and then they will ignore your presentation. The lure is effective for trophy trout anywhere, anytime. This type of lure is by far the best bait that I use for trophy trout success. It is most effective during bright, clear, sunny days with clear water. I make my own spinners based on this spinner, but I add flies and rubber skirts to the treble hooks to increase my catch rates for making the spinner better. You like my tips so far? Just wait. The tips get better as we go. The fourth tip is a game changer for sure. Very important, always fish upstream. Fishing exclusively upstream will improve your consistent success catching trophy trout. Fishing upstream has many advantages. You have to be very careful not to make any mistakes by losing your balance or falling into the river and going for a swim. It is more difficult to wade upstream against the current. Fishing upstream, they have much less of a chance to see you approaching. The trout faces upstream in the current. In turn, your presentation looks completely natural, which triggers a normal response from the fish to eat. Fishing upstream doesn't stir up the silt and sediment towards the fish that you're trying to catch. Dirty water makes it harder to see your lure, along with alerting the trout that something is wrong. Keep the retrieval hand positioned by the reel to immediately start retrieving the spinner to make the blade spin properly. The next tip is another huge deciding factor, determining if you catch more consistent and bigger trophy fish. The number 5 tip is very important, if not one of the most important determining factors in finding and catching trophy trout. Finding the right location of where a trout lives, hunts, and rests. Yes, large trout do forage and migrate up and down streams throughout the year. That doesn't mean that when you find the lair of a huge trout, it'll be empty when the fish moves up or down. Another dominant monster will use this spot again. My most successful number 1 spot to find the biggest trophy trout from any stream or river is an undercut bank. The main reason why these fish love an undercut bank is because it gives them shelter from predators, mainly birds of prey. It's also used as an ambush point to easily grab unsuspecting baitfish as they swim by. Try not to make the mistake of overlooking the edges of the banks, assuming it's too shallow to be undercut. I have made that mistake of passing up a perfectly disguised den with the undercut bank having 3 to 5 feet of shelter in depth. When I fished that river again, I hooked my personal best, largest trophy trout that I have ever had the pleasure of fighting then snapping off. It came from under the same 5-foot deep undercut bank which I missed the first time. That fish was all 30 inches. The undercut bank provides relief from swimming against strong currents and saves valuable energy, which gives the fish a chance to rest. The biggest fish have the best locations in every stream. Fishing close to and under banks is a very effective tactic to catch a monster. If you are fortunate or good enough to find these types of structural habitats, you'll find that it's most effective fishing them early in the morning or just before dark. However, I did hook that 30-inch giant trophy wild brown trout in the middle of an extremely hot sunny day. Since you have made it this far, keep watching because it only gets better all the way to the end of the video. The number 6 is something that I suggest you at least give a try. Building your own spinners. By building your own spinners, you can replicate the baitfish that trophy trout eat daily. First thing that you must determine is what colors to use. Not all color sizes and variations are consistently effective. Don't worry, I've narrowed it down to a couple of basics. Gold, silver, and black are the best colors, for me personally. You can change the body, the blade, the style, and the weight of your spinners. The There's a slight learning curve when building your own spinners. After you purchase the jig tool used to bend the wire into the base for the spinner, don't make the wire too long or too short. Use solid beads to guarantee your blades to spin. Otherwise, have fun by experimenting with different body types and weights until you find the best results. The most consistent, successful colors for catching trophy trout are gold blade, gold body, and silver blade, silver body combo. The reason why these two colors work the best is because the gold resembles a yellow sculpin and the silver mimics a silver minnow. You may find success with different color spinners on other streams with different food sources. The most effective time to use these spinners is always. I have consistently caught my biggest trophy trout on panther martin type spinners. The huge trout that I have caught on these spinners ranges from 17 to 24.5-inch monster trophy trout. I make my spinners more desirable by adding flies and rubber leg skirts to the treble hooks. Now that you have made it through my bread and butter tips for consistently catching trophy trout tactics, the final 4 will take you to the next level of catching trophy trout. The 7th tip is another one of my favorite baits, the gulp minnow. Do I need to say more? You can float, dead drift, twitch, drag with a sinker, or reel in like a spinner. Avoid casting these fake minnows into heavy wooded brush piles because of the obvious reason of getting tangled. Part of the reason why it works so well is the scent, soft texture, and look-alike appearance. The preferred size is 2.5 inches. I use the emerald shiner, black and white, and the black and gold shiner. I've caught numerous brook trout up to 16 inches using this tip. Almost there. Make sure to watch until the end and I'll reveal the all-time best tip. The number 8 tip is try using a Joe's fly spinner. It's the best of both worlds. You have a fly and a spinner together. On the days when the fish are less aggressive, they'll nail the fly. Other times they'll slam the spinner. The fly part of the lure is a stinger hook trailer that makes sure the fish stays on. Don't use these fish in fast water. They're too small to stay down in the water column. One of the few ways that they could improve this spinner is by making a heavier spinner for castability and depth. It is very effective with a super slow retrieve. The blade design works so well that you can reel slow without the blade stopping. Use the 1/4 ounce, which is the biggest spinner currently offered. If you have made it this far, you deserve to hear the next to last crucial tip for finding trophy trout. And this one is very key. Temperature is vital in locating the section of water that the trophies live and thrive in. Temperature is imperative to find trout, period. Temperature is vital in locating the section of water that the trophies live and thrive in. If you do take the chance, you can be handsomely rewarded with some real monsters. If the temperature is too high, there will be no fish or very few fish. Too low, they are lethargic and not easily provoked into hitting the lure. The sweet spot is between 50 and 65 degrees with a gradual increase in temperature. The trout is cold-blooded. Its body temp is the same as the water temperatures. A temperature increase raises the trout's metabolism, which causes the body to burn more energy. In turn, they must eat more food to keep up. It triggers them to feed and is the best time to fish. Using temps can help you find trophy trout in marginally unclassified water where rough fish live. The lower sections of non-classified trout waters are some of the best places to find trophy trout. Temps may be borderline to their own mortality. Warmer water has less oxygen. The bait fish that huge trout need to survive are found in these warmer sections of rivers. The best time to try this tip is in early spring. I tried for years unsuccessfully until 2022. Finally paid off in one day. I landed a 17 and a half, a 19, and a 19 and a half incher on a 1.47 mile section of river. I have repeated a few more successful outings with more very large trophies on the same section of stream. Well, you finally made it to the end. You deserve to hear the number one best tip for consistently catching trophy trout. Any guesses? Fish for trout at night in complete darkness. It's not for the faint of heart. The biggest predatory trout comes out at night to feed. It is the most difficult type of trout fishing, but can be the most rewarding if you have the drive and can control your mind from freaking out. Don't make the mistake of fishing the deep holes at night. The trophy trout waits to ambush any unsuspecting prey in the shallow water. The reason why these large trout feed so aggressively at night is that other predators can't see them in the dark. The reason that they feed so aggressively at night is so that other predators can't see them in the dark. The other reason is because small animals scurry around in the dark to find food for themselves. Sometimes they end up falling into the water. Some of the strangest food items that people have found in the trout's stomach is snakes, bats, and of course mice. Wear a headlamp with UV red light to navigate to the spot and then lights out. Keep all the lights off until you hook one. I use my fly rod with extra large mouse patterns. Make sure to splash the fly on the surface, then strip the fly in while making as much commotion as possible. This gets the fish's attention to attack. If you like this video, you'll love this fishing session I had on a nice fall Wisconsin day.